Hello. Today for homework, you are adding and subtracting with unlike denominators using cross multiplication. So before we start the problem, remember we're adding and subtracting because in the middle we have our add and subtract signs. We're adding unlike denominators. So that just means our denominators are not the same. So we cannot add or subtract until they are the same. And then we are using cross multiply to multiply the numbers, or you'll see, so that we can get those common denominators. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with number 1. We have 2/3 plus 1/4. So whenever you do a problem using cross multiply, I am actually gonna go ahead and write it again on the middle of this space so that I can write I have space to write everything. So whenever we cross multiply, we start with the bottom number and we're gonna go ahead and put an arrow pointing across. Same with the denominator, the 4, I'm gonna have an arrow pointing across. Now this is just to help remind myself that I have to multiply each fraction by the opposite denominator. We do that so that we can get the same denominator. So on the right side for my 1/4, my 3 is pointing to this side. So that means the 1/4 I have to multiply times 3 to the numerator and times 3 to the denominator. So now on both sides I have times 3. And then I could put my equal sign. Now on the opposite side for 2/3, 4 is pointing to the 2/3. So that means I have to multiply it by 4 to the other fraction. I put my equal sign. Now I can go ahead and actually solve. So let's start with my right side. 1 times 3 is 3. 4 times 3 is 12. So our new fraction there is 3/12. Now we can do our left side. Again, start off with your numerator. 2 times 4 is 8. And 3 times 4 is 12. Now our fractions both have the same denominator and now we can add. So I'm going to put little arrows just to show that I now have to add those fractions. So I have 8/12 plus 3/12. And then you can add across since now we have the same denominator. So 8 plus 3, 8, 9, 10, 11. And remember your numerator or your denominator always stays the same, so it stays as 12. So my answer is 11/12. All right, let's try another example. Now we have one where we have to subtract. We do the exact same steps, except in my last step, I subtract. So just be careful of making sure you put the same symbol at the end for your last step. So again, just like before, I'm gonna go ahead and write my work here at the bottom, and I'm gonna go ahead and put 5/6 minus 3/5. And just like before, I'm gonna go ahead and put an arrow from the 6 and point it to my fraction 3/5, and my arrow from the 5 pointing to the fraction 5/6. And we do this just to help us remember what we have to multiply by. Now I know on my right side, my 3/5, I have 6 pointing to 3/5. So that means I have to multiply by 6 to the numerator and denominator. On my opposite side, 5 is pointing to 5/6, so I have to multiply by 5 to both the numerator and denominator. Now we can go ahead and solve. Let's start with our left side here. 5 times 5 is 25. And 5 times 6 is 30. Now we can write our fraction on the right. 3 times 6 is 18, and 5 times 6 is 30. And see, now our both fractions have the same denominator. Now I'm gonna go ahead and copy my fractions down. Remember, they go in the same order. So this fraction the 5/6, the one we changed it to 25/30, has to go first. So we copy down 25/30. Make sure you copy down the same symbol, subtract, so minus, and your new fraction, 18/30. Now, whenever you have two numbers that you need to subtract, I would say write it up and down so that you know you are subtracting correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and do a thought bubble, and I'm going to go ahead and write 25 minus 18. And subtract. 5 minus 8. I cannot do 5 minus 8 because if you have 5, you can't take away 8. So that 5 has to borrow from the 2. So that 2 becomes a 1, and that 5 becomes a 15. Now you can do 15 minus 8. So 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So that means 25 minus 18 is 7, and your denominator stays the same, so it stays as 30. And ta-da, you have your answer. Okay. I hope this helps with adding and subtracting by fractions by cross multiplying. If you need to rewatch, make sure you just rewatch so it will help you out in today's homework. Bye.